When I was struggling so desperately for money, I got sick and tired of hearing the same old about how to manifest it. You know, have an attitude of gratitude, visualise and affirm your wealth. And the one that used to confuse me the most, release your subconscious negative beliefs about money. I mean, I was close to broke. I struggled to feel grateful. Any visualization of having money to spend would burst faster than a soap bubble in the washing up bowl as soon as the next final reminder landed on the doormat. And as for my subconscious beliefs, how was I supposed to figure out what was in my subconscious? Fortunately, I found out that none of those things are necessary, and money and abundance in all forms can flow to you easily and all the time. I'm going to tell you exactly how to make that happen in this video. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Trevor. Although the law of attraction was a lifeline for me when I was going through those difficult years, I tried so hard to master the techniques as if I was learning a musical instrument or something. Yet for what seemed like far too long, I continued to struggle, not only for money, but for love and happiness overall. Life seemed difficult. Eventually, I found a new way of understanding how we manifest our reality through effortlessness, not struggle, and that's when everything changed. I met and married a wonderful woman, and money now flows easily and abundantly into my life. If you're interested in diving deeper into the effortless way of manifesting, please check out my Law of Attraction Demystified Club. You'll find a link at the top of the description. All right, let's dive into this abundance mindset thing. I recently came across a woman who literally went from a lifetime of poverty and living in debt to becoming wealthy and paying off her mortgage and everything else in the space of a year. She puts the change down to a number of things which I'd like to talk about here. Let me be clear. I'm sure she's telling the absolute truth, and I'm equally sure that her beliefs about what has worked for her are firm in her mind. The only problem is, I don't think they're easy to copy. Even she says that only 1% of people are willing to do what she's done. So I'm going to talk about her method and then explain how we can all attract an abundance of money. One thing she says she had to do was to reprogram her money mindset. My own father, who brought me up single-handed after my mother died when I was 9, was of the generation who thought that money was the result of hard work and nothing else. This lady grew up with similar beliefs around her. I spent years, I don't even want to count how many, trying to reprogram my money mindset. I tried, as she did, to figure out what my childhood memories and beliefs around money were. I did all of that because I believed that if I could not only find those beliefs, but then reverse them, I might finally start to have better luck with attracting money. Blah! You don't need any of that. Thinking about money, then thinking about lack of it, and throwing into the swirling mix any memories related to money from your earliest childhood is all thinking. That's what all of those have in common. When you try to fix your manifesting issues by thinking about them, it's like trying to fix your car's engine with a bread knife. It's just the wrong tool for the job. You cannot think your way to abundance. There are a couple of reasons for that. First, you will only ever think about what you know and what you've experienced. I call that inside the box thinking. There's nothing wrong with that kind of thinking for certain things, but if you're trying to use it to break out of a pattern you keep repeating, like not attracting money, it's not going to work, because what you need is a new way of thinking. The only way that can come to you is when you let go of all the inside-the-box thinking. Go quiet, meditate, go for a walk, listen to some gentle piano music, something without words. Get a shiatsu massage. anything that gets you out of your head for a while, even for a few minutes. The second reason you can't think your way to abundance is because abundance isn't something you need to chase. It's already here. There's no shortage of anything, from rays of sunshine to blades of grass to stars in the sky to, yes, money. I can say that with total confidence because money is a product of our human imagination, and that is without limits too. The next thing we're going to talk about is affirmations. This is a topic I've mentioned many times before, and whilst my view on them hasn't changed, I mean, they're another technique requiring effort, I have updated it slightly. So let me tell you where I am on this. The lady whose story I found became aware that she thought she had to work hard for money. She just thought that because, as I mentioned, she'd grown up with that. Me too. So that thought, that hard work was how to get money, was functioning like a kind of affirmation for her. Once she became aware of it, she set about changing it, and she came up with some positive phrases about being abundant so she could replace it and kind of delete the old one. Doing that seems to have helped her on her road to financial abundance, so I'm not going to say you shouldn't do it. Do whatever helps and works, but, and this is my point, back in the days when I was trying to use affirmations to bring a change to my money situation, I'd get all tangled up in trying to remember the exact words. Then, once I'd remembered the words, I'd worry that I was reciting them parrot fashion without any emotion, which I thought meant they wouldn't work. Then, when the money still didn't show up, I'd wonder if perhaps I wasn't repeating them often enough, or if there were too many anxious or fearful thoughts in between bouts of reciting them. It was awful. I became a lunatic trying to be my own thought police. And again, it's trying to control the outcome with thinking. Look, I don't want to make thinking sound like a villain here. I do a lot of thinking, and I'm very grateful that I have that ability. Let me put it this way. There are two types of thinking. There's thinking you deliberately do, like thinking about what to have for dinner tonight or where you'd like to go on your holiday next year. And then there's thoughts that just come to you. I mean, how do you ever learn anything new? How do you get ideas? You can only ever deliberately think, as I've said already, about what you know or think you know based on past experience, which might include things you learned at school, what you've seen on the web, sayings your grandmother used to repeat. It's a mishmash of a bazillion things. But new thought can only come to your awareness when you stop that noise. It's why it's common wisdom all over the world that if you have a problem you can't find a solution for, the best thing is to sleep on it. In other words, give your brain a rest. There's a much better chance that the answer will just occur to you. What I eventually found is that when you become aware of a thought like, the only way to get more money is through hard work, you can ignore it. Yes, you can. You have both permission and the ability to do that. Just remind yourself, I don't have to think that, and let it go. I made over $1,200 in a weekend when I wanted something I didn't have the money for by ignoring the thought, I can't afford that. I became aware I was thinking it and immediately told myself I didn't have to think that thought. Within a split second, a new thought occurred to me, which was, I wonder if I could make the money. From there, things just flowed and money poured in. I've told the whole story in another video. I'll put it up on the screen, and also there'll be a link to it in the description. Now, next, let's talk about the power of gratitude. I hit my rock bottom around 1992. I had no money. My marriage had broken up and my new girlfriend dumped me. If you'd told me when that happened to be grateful for the things I had, like food in my belly, my job, and in fairness, I had wonderful colleagues who helped me through some very dark days, or anything else, I simply couldn't have done it. I was aware of those things, but to have summoned up gratitude would have been beyond me at those times. Looking back, I can be incredibly grateful, but I felt I'd lost all the things that mattered to me, and without money, I literally had to choose between not paying the mortgage and not eating. I couldn't even have an evening in the pub with my friends. What I needed was hope. I needed to know there was a way out, and there was. I had never heard of the law of attraction at that time, but looking back, I can now see it worked perfectly for me, even without gratitude. You see, the reason the law of attraction teachers tell you about the power of gratitude is because they say that what you focus on grows. I don't see it exactly that way, and perhaps I'll make another video about that. But focus certainly sets an intention, and my experience is you will be guided to the solution. I needed help, and I felt I needed it fast, but I didn't know where to turn or who to ask. Note that I was in a bad state emotionally. I didn't try any law of attraction techniques because I didn't even know about it at the time. But it's a law. It doesn't need me or you to control it. It just works like gravity. So I wasn't feeling grateful. I was feeling lost and desperate and, well, hopeless. I needed help. Here's what happened. My colleagues at work realized something was up. They didn't know the details, but I was due some leave and it was hastily arranged that I could take it that very day. One lovely colleague, a psychologist, advised me to do something non-cerebral. I asked her what she meant, and she said, I know you. You think too much. You won't solve this by thinking. Get a massage or something, even if it's only half an hour, so that you stop thinking. I thought the advice was silly, but I respected and liked her, so it stuck. My brother and sister-in-law, who lived 200 miles away, invited me to come and stay. The first morning I was there, I woke up and had the thought that I wanted to visit a certain specialised bookshop that I'd loved for years. It sold esoteric books, spiritual books, self-help books, that kind of thing. I told my brother I was going there. When he asked me why, I said I didn't know, but that I just felt there was something there I needed. I don't know where that thought came from. We all went to the bookshop. I think my brother and sister-in-law were afraid I'd do something stupid if I was left alone, but that wasn't something I'd seriously considered. The bookshop was small, and I was on my third time round it before I spotted my book. I practically knew all the others by heart. It was brand new. The title was Living Magically, which appealed to me immediately, and I'd never heard of the author, whose name was Jill Edwards. When I opened the book at a random page, Jill was talking about creating our reality with our thoughts and beliefs. It was my introduction to the law of attraction. I knew that was my book. I grabbed it, and as I was paying for it, I noticed the shop was advertising a float tank upstairs. Remembering my colleague's advice, I booked myself a session, thinking it was a complete waste of time and money. It was like climbing into a warm bath, except the water is only about 6 inches deep, and the salts in it mean that when you lay down, you float, so you're weightless. Then they turn the lights out, well, except for a tiny green nightlight. I remember laying there, wondering how on earth I was going to get through a whole hour in this dark, wet place. And then a new thought came to me. Listen to that. A new thought came to me. I didn't think it, it came to me. It was this. when I get out of here, my problems will still be there. So I may as well just relax into this experience because I can think about them again in an hour. And then I let go. It was serene. It was wonderful. I didn't want it to end. When it was over, was I still sad? Yes, of course. But I no longer felt hopeless or helpless. Jill Edwards became a friend and later personally trained me to teach metaphysics. And I'd found that I could let go of my thinking. And as soon as I did that, peace was there. I didn't need the float tank after that to get glimpses of that peace again. In fact, I still don't. Over the following months, my money troubles eased. A new girlfriend turned up. It wasn't the end of all my problems, but that dark night of the soul never returned. We've strayed a bit from abundance mindset, I know. Well, perhaps not so far. I thought money was all I needed to fix the debt issues, but actually, I found a whole new way of seeing life, a new teacher, and later, a new girlfriend. And money did start showing up, and I kept my home. How much abundance do you want? The key point here is that you don't need techniques in your arsenal for the law of attraction to work. It's working all the time. Set your intention. Mine was to be shown a way out and for some hope, remember? I didn't even know I was setting an intention. It wasn't a technique. I acted out of sheer desperation. But you don't need to be desperate to set an intention. And then your job is done. Let go. Do something non-cerebral. Doesn't have to be a float tank. But stop trying to think your way through or out. To my mind, this is the part that only about 1% of people will do. But I promise you, it's the key to all manifesting. Let go. Let the ideas come. You will be guided. I hope this video has been helpful. Please remember to check out the Law of Attraction Demystified Club, where we explore more ideas like this in greater detail and depth. There's a forum there too, where you can ask questions and chat with me and other members. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you again very soon in another video.